Let me just get the chat up and running. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm live again for another live mental health Q&A. So please do get your questions in. It's extremely hot today in the UK, but like I said before, we love a bit of sun now and then in the UK. But anyway, let's get talking about mental health and why we're here. We are here for another live Q&A about mental health, depression, anxiety, PTSD, recovery, trauma, all of those things. And I'm live again for another session. So here we go. Hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone is looking after their mental well-being, as well as, being kinder to themselves, and starting a conversation about mental health if needs be. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to go through it alone. You can share your story with others, and that in turn should inspire them to share their story with others. And I think that's what we ultimately want to do, right? Is engage people in the conversation around mental health, challenge stigma, but also break the silence, because there is silence still around mental health. A lot of people still find it hard to talk about. Some people still find it a subject that they would rather avoid than open up about it, because they're in fear of stigma, discrimination, or hate or negativity. And that's what we need to remove when we're talking about mental health. Those things are the things that we need to challenge. So, mental health in general is a conversation that everyone should have every single day. Whether that be with, a family member, work colleague, friend, whoever. If you've got something going on in your mind, talk about it. And that's how important a conversation can be. A mental health conversation can save a life. But, if you don't have that mental health conversation, it can also take a life. Because, suicide is still the biggest killer of males under 50. We're losing too many good people every single year, because they feel so lonely, so isolated, that they fear talking about mental health, that they take a way out that is very permanent, when they could have been saved, they could have been helped, through conversation, through support, and I only wish that these people would reach out and ask for help, because you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. There's nothing wrong with suffering with mental illness. I suffer with mental illness. I'm not embarrassed. I talk about it openly. I talk about my diagnosis openly, which is why I do these live Q&As. Don't be ashamed of your mental illness. Just because people can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. Unfortunately, the illness that we have is invisible, and it goes on within your mind, and that is where the battle, and that's where the war is won and lost, inside your mind. So it's incredibly challenging to live with mental illness without adding stigma, discrimination, and negativity onto that. I put myself out there. I talk about mental health. Sometimes I get idiotic comments. Sometimes I get trolls. But for the main part, I get some good comments, and people want to hear and have these conversations. And that's why I do these live Q&A sessions, to try and, speak to my audience, speak to my subscribers, let them know that, they're not going through this alone. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. If you support raising mental health awareness, if you support ending the stigma, then please subscribe, and join the community. And every voice is heard on Pieces of a Broken Mind. Everyone's mental health matters on Pieces of a Broken Mind, and everyone is welcome on Pieces of a Broken Mind, because mental health matters on this channel. And I try to emphasize that in every live stream that I do. I upload every single day, whether that be a short form content, long form content, or a live stream. There is something uploaded on the channel every single day, and I am live twice a week, every Wednesday, every Sunday, and there is plenty of mental health content on my channel that you can relate to, that you can listen to, that you can, understand, but I do have to say, if you are suffering with a mental health issue, please see a mental health professional. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counsellor. I'm just someone who has lived experience with mental illness. I have my own diagnosis and I talk about it. That's all. So if you are suffering with your mental health, please do see a mental health professional. Reach out to your doctor, reach out to a therapist or a counsellor. Don't go through this alone. Don't suffer in silence. There is help out there. There is ways that you can get support. There's mental health charities. There's Samaritans in the UK, and there's helplines. You don't have to go through this alone. You just need to find the courage within you to have this conversation, with whoever is trying to support you, because they will support you. There is help out there. You may think that you're on your own, suffering with depression or PTSD or schizophrenia or bipolar or dissociative identity disorder. You might think that you're on your own with your illness. You're not. 1 in 5 people now, especially in the UK, will suffer from some form of mental health condition, and that's how many people are suffering in silence. Think about how many people you pass in the streets and you pass throughout your daily life. 1 in 4 of those people will suffer with a common mental health problem, whether that be depression, anxiety, OCD, ADHD, whatever it is. So can you imagine how many people are suffering in silence because they're worried about opening up in case someone says that they're lying or someone doesn't believe them? You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You have your diagnosis. I have my diagnosis. I talk about it openly. I share a lot about my complex PTSD. I share a lot about the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the ADHD, and the anxiety disorder. I talk about all of those things openly. Obviously I don't get into the extreme detail of the traumas specifically, because that's between me and my therapist, but I do talk about complex PTSD. I do talk about the suicide attempts. I did try to end my life. Twice I wanted to end my life and tried to end my life in 2022. Once in February of 2022 and once in May of 2022, when I had a full mental breakdown. And that's when I was diagnosed with complex PTSD, clinical depression, and anxiety disorder, and ADHD. So, I know how that darkness is. I know how painful those thoughts are, those intrusive thoughts that you have. I know how painful they are. I've had them. I've lived them. I've survived them. But they always stay with me through the nightmares and the flashbacks, which is the complex PTSD. So those memories and those scars never leave me. I will always have them. I'm learning to live alongside them, because you'll never fully get rid of the traumas, but you can learn to live alongside them through therapy and through the correct medication, through the correct recovery plan. You can get there. Recovery is possible, and there's many people out there who are recovering well. I have my good days, but they're very rare. Like today's a good day for me. I'm able to talk. I'm able to talk today. I'm not closed off today. I'm not shutting down. When most days, I go into myself and I don't want to talk about it. I just sit with the thoughts. I sit with the suicidal thoughts. I sit with the intrusive thoughts. I sit with the depression. I feel empty. I feel numb. But today I'm live and I'm talking about it, because this is like an additional therapy session for me, talking to the camera. It's like having therapy, because you open up, you talk. Okay, with the therapist and counsellor, you'll talk about the ins and outs of the trauma, But on here, on a live stream, I can just talk about mental health in general, and that does help me. That does lift a bit of weight off my shoulders, because talking about it helps. Talking about it is an underrated therapy. You don't know how powerful conversations can be, and they can massively change someone's mindset. And just by talking about mental health, you could save someone's life. Um, just by doing a video on mental health, or writing a post, writing a blog, um, a TikTok, on an Instagram. As long as you're doing that content for the right reasons, no, no effort is ever wasted, because we need to every day try and raise awareness around mental health. We need to every day try and support people who are going through mental illness, like myself. You know, I talk about it openly because I want people to see that ordinary people can talk about mental health. I'm a nobody. I'm just someone who has a mental illness diagnosis, and I try and talk about it just because I don't want people to feel the way I feel, and I don't want people to experience that darkness that I experience when I have those suicidal thoughts, or those intrusive thoughts, or I have those nightmares and flashbacks. I don't want people to feel those things, which is why I put myself out there in vulnerable positions to talk about mental health, to show that it is possible. These conversations are happening on YouTube with real people, with real stories, with real diagnosis. And I created this channel as like a video diary for me to an extended therapy session, to talk to the camera. But it's become more than that now. It's become a part of my life. It's become a part of my recovery journey, and it's my purpose now. I fight my mental illness every day, because I know that even if my channel helps one person with their mental health, then that's a win. I've helped one person. I've turned around one person's mindset. I've given them some hope back. I've given them a glimpse of light in the darkness. If it was just about views and subscribers, I would have quit a long time ago. I've been doing this for 4 years, having low views. My subscribers not going up massively. I've had 4 years of that. If I was just about that, subscribers and views, then I would have quit a long time ago. It's not about that for me. It's about the message. It's about how many people I can help. Regardless of what I've been through in the past, I've made many mistakes. I've made many poor life choices, and I wish I could go back and change some of those. But life doesn't work like that. It's gone now. The past. What's done is done. You learn from that. You move forward. Sometimes you have to revisit your past in therapy to be able to truly move forward in life. But I do also understand that therapy is not for everyone. Sometimes some people just can't get on with therapy. But for me, I can only speak from my own personal experiences, and they've been positive. So, talking helps, and it will help you. If you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to engage, if you're willing to open up to a stranger who's wanting to help you, they can guide you through these feelings, they can guide you through these memories, because life is just a culmination of many different moments happening. So it's what we do with these moments that matter. What are you doing today that's going to make your life better tomorrow? What are you doing today that's going to make tomorrow a better day for you? For me, what I'm doing today to make tomorrow better for me is going live on YouTube, trying to talk to people, trying to help people, and making mental health content. That makes me feel good. That gives me a sense of purpose that I really enjoy. And it helps me fight my intrusive thoughts and the depression. and the suicidal thoughts and the nightmares and the flashbacks. That purpose of helping people is driving me to continue, and you know, I'll continue through all the low views, because it's not about that. It's about helping people, and it's about supporting people who think that they're on their own, because they're not. I know how they're feeling, because I tried to hide what was going on in my mind for a long time, and it almost cost me my life. In 2022, when I had a full breakdown, everything came to a head. A complete breakdown mentally. Suicide attempt in February. Crisis therapy. Support. Suicide attempt in May. Diagnosis of complex PTSD, ADHD, anxiety disorder, and clinical depression. So, you know, I tried to hide, and my body said, "No, you're not hiding from this anymore." It broke down. I broke down mentally, and I tried to take the easy way out. I tried to take that easy way out, and you know, but you think that the option gives you clarity, and it gives you certainty that all the pain will be over, but it doesn't. It just passes the pain to someone else, to your family members, to your friends, and so, you know, I try and fight back against those, you know, thoughts now, because, you know, I'm doing something to, you not only benefit me, because talking does benefit me, and talking to, you know, people on YouTube benefits me, because it's like another therapy session. I want this channel to be something, to be a place where people can come, feel safe to open up about their mental health without fear of judgment, without fear of stigma, without fear of discrimination. And I want them to engage. I want them to feel like they're a part of something. And you are a part of my channel. You're a part of my life now, because this channel is my life. And if I'm helping one person or two people or even three people, I'm happy. You know, all I want to do is let people know all over the world that they're not on their own. I've experienced what you're going through. I still experience it through nightmares and flashbacks. So you're not on your own, because I'm living proof that you can learn to live alongside it, which is what I'm doing. And that's important. That's important to do. That's important to understand. Because there's some great. I watch a lot of YouTube, obviously. I watch a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of therapists. I listen to a lot of counsellors who make educational content on YouTube around mental health. You know, but very rarely do you find a very specific channel that has a real person talking about their own diagnosis so openly, so honestly, whether it is blunt or it's hard to hear. I just say it how it is, and I say it honestly, and I feel I need to be honest with myself, and I feel I need to be honest with my content, because mental health or suffering with mental illness isn't a holiday. It's a nightmare, and it will test you in ways that you never thought possible. So please understand that your recovery journey will take you down different paths, and they are dark, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. The only thing stronger than fear is hope. The only thing stronger than hate is love. So it's how you look at things. It's how you perceive your illness. I see it now as a challenge, something that I need to conquer, something that I need to be in control of instead of letting it control me. And I've done that in these last 4 years, working with a great therapist, a great psychologist, on the right medication. I hope it might change depending on very specific treatments that I'm waiting for, because the waiting lists in the UK are extremely long for mental health support. I'm on the waiting list for specialist trauma therapy, which I think is called EMDR, and I am still waiting to see the ADHD specialist to, talk about the direction that he wants to go with my ADHD medication and recovery journey. So, unfortunately, I haven't got the money to go private and get these things done. It's expensive to get private therapy, private EMDR. If I had the money, I would do it. I would do it privately, but now I just gotta wait. But I do have a therapist. I do. I do pay privately myself, but I can only afford so many sessions a month. I have 2 sessions a month. Running my own business and a YouTube channel and running your own place, it's a lot of money. So I do YouTube out of the joy, because I don't get nothing from YouTube. I do it because I want to help people, and I do it because it helps me talk about mental health. And that's all I want people to understand, that regardless of what people say, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but their opinions are none of your business. Just ignore them and live your life. Keep moving forward. Ignore the haters, ignore the trolls. People will always want to criticize. People will always try to bring you down. That is just the way the world works. Some people just want to see the world burn, and they will try and take that out on you. But you can choose whether you let them affect you. You can choose whether you let what they're saying affect you. If we have anything in this life, it's choice. Life is 10% about what happens to you, but it's 90% of how you react to it. You choose. You choose what happens next. You choose how you react to a situation. So keep that power. Don't give them that power by reacting to them in a negative way. Don't give them that control over you. Keep that power for yourself. Talk to yourself a lot kinder. Celebrate the small wins. Because, I've always said many times on this channel, the best relationship that you'll ever have is the one that you have with yourself, because you're with yourself 100% of the time. So you need to improve the relationship that you have with yourself and stop letting outside influences impact you in a negative way. And I'm not saying that is not challenging to do, because sometimes you'll see me snap on these lives because I get some comments that I shouldn't be rage baited, but sometimes I do. So I know how hard it is to not react. But that's what they want. They want a reaction. They want to affect you because they are projecting their fears and their insecurities onto you, because they can't face themselves. They can't admit their own mistakes. They can't admit their own faults. They can't admit their own flaws. So what do? They go on social media and try and criticize and bring other people down, and judge people. You shouldn't judge people on the chapter that you walked in on. You should judge people for who they're trying to be, no one deserves to be judged by each other. It's not hard to be kind. It's not hard to show respect. It's not hard to show empathy and sympathy. You don't have to agree with everyone. Of course you don't. That's what free will is. But you choose whether you're nasty or kind. You choose whether you're critical or helpful. You choose whether you're negative or positive. So make the right choice. Be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And the solution with mental illness is conversation. Conversation can help you. And I've said many times on this channel, mental health conversations do save lives. And I truly believe that, because it saved my life. Talking about it with my therapist has saved my life. So I know that it works. I know myself that I apply myself to what my therapist wants to do. I fully I fully throw myself into the therapy in order to get the maximum out of it. And I think that's what we should do. Because if you go to therapy with a closed mind, if you go to therapy and think this is not going to work, if you already have a negative mindset to the therapy, it's never going to work for you. So just have an open mind, going into whatever treatment that your mental health professional is recommending for you, and go into it with an open mind and be willing to engage in whatever help that they're giving you, whatever support that they're giving you. Don't just be negative and say it's not going to work and this can't help me, and you don't know how the fact is you don't know whether therapy will work or not, but you still have to try. You still have to go through it. You still have to try and work with your counsellor or your therapist. You still have to be able to share your story with others in order to start the road to recovery. So sharing your story will inspire someone else in turn to share theirs, and then someone else will share theirs, and ultimately that's what we want: more people talking about mental health, real people, real conversations, real content. I don't edit anything out of my content. Whatever I say is left. I swear sometimes. I don't try and edit that out. If there's long pauses and I'm thinking about what to say, I don't edit that out, because I want to be authentic. I want my channel to be realistic, and I want people to understand that I'm really trying to think of words and positivity to try and help support people on these live streams. So my content is raw, it's unedited, and it goes up as it is, and it's straight to the point. It's blunt, and sometimes viewer discretion is advised on my channel, because I'm so honest about my mental health. I'm so honest about the depression, the suicidal thoughts, and the negativity, and the flashbacks, and the nightmares, and sometimes people might find that hard to listen to. So viewer discretion is advised on my channel, because I don't specifically know what triggers that you might have, but I openly talk about my diagnosis, and some people will have similar diagnosis to me but different types of triggers. So as long I want to come across in my content as honest and authentic as I can. That's why I don't edit anything out. That's why I don't change anything. That's why I leave everything in, because my videos are what they are. It's just me trying to talk about mental health, trying to help people and trying to support people. And I don't edit it just to try and make a better video or blah blah blah. No, I say what I say. It is what it is. And everyone's mental health matters, and I will continue with that message on this channel every single day, like I have done for the last 4 years. Views or no views, subscribers or no subscribers, I've shown up every single day on this channel for 4 years talking about mental health and raising mental health awareness and challenging stigma. So that's what I hold on to, the purpose. And I think if you can gain 3 very specific things in your life, then it can only improve. If you can get purpose, perspective, and clarity, if you can get those 3 things in your life, then your life will definitely improve. So purpose is what drives us. Clarity is what gives us certainty. And perspective is how we look and how we judge things. And we choose. Okay? You have choice. But if you can get purpose, clarity, and perspective, then your life will definitely improve. Um, you just got to believe it. And once you believe it, you're 50% of the way there. And the rest of it, you've just got to work for it. Um, through all the negativity, through all the people that say you can't make a mental health channel, your channel's not going to be big, no one's going to watch. You know, I still make my content, and I don't care if it's had 1 view, 10 views, 30 views, or whatever. I've still done a video that might help someone that day, and that's okay for me. That's a win for me. So, you know, that's how I look at it now. You know, I don't get nothing from YouTube. I invest a lot of my time into making content on YouTube, with over 3,000 videos about mental health on my channel, including lots of legacy live streams, lots of podcast episodes, long form content, short form content, community posts, and recently, over the last few months, obviously these live Q&As. So I invest a lot of time in YouTube, and you know, all I get back sometimes is positive comments from some amazing people, and some, you know, people that really support the channel and really try to see what I'm doing. So I don't get paid from YouTube, and I'm nowhere near being monetized. So I do it because I want to, and I do it because it helps me, and I can help others by talking about mental health. So that's why I do these live streams. I'm live streaming now to one person, but you know, it doesn't matter, because that one person might see this live stream and say, oh, someone is talking about mental health. I might not be on my own, you know? And that's all that matters to me. Whether there's one person watching, no people watching, like there is now, it doesn't matter. I will continue to show up for my community on YouTube. I will continue to go live every Wednesday evening, every Sunday evening. I'm live for a minimum of 1 hour, sometimes longer, sometimes it'll never be less than an hour. So I will be live for a minimum of 1 hour. Anything after an hour is a bonus. But I will continue to show up for myself. I will continue to show up for everyone that has subscribed to the channel. I will continue to show up for everyone who does support raising mental health awareness, who does support ending the stigma, and who does support breaking the silence. And that's what I try to do on my channel. And it's not just about men's mental health on my channel. Everyone's mental health matters on my channel. Everyone is welcome, and everyone is seen, heard, and listened to on my channel. You know, if I get trolls in the chat, you'll get blocked immediately. You know, but if you genuinely want to chat in the live chat, then we chat. I'll answer your questions. I'll give you a shout out. We'll talk. If you have questions about my diagnosis, I'm happy to answer. You know, whatever happens, these live streams are not just about me, they're about you. I put myself out there in case there's someone that stumbles across the live and thinks, oh, there's someone talking about mental health, I want to join that conversation. Because sometimes, obviously, you see a lot of the well-known therapists, well-known counsellors, well-known life coaches, motivational videos. You see all of those ones, but being someone's live, someone who's not famous, someone who's just a normal man talking about mental health, is live on YouTube talking about it. So that's why I do it. It doesn't matter if there's one person, 2 people watching, 3 people watching. If someone stumbles across my live stream and it helps them that day to feel less alone talking about mental health, then that's a win for me. I accept that. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to help. I want to support, and that's why I continue to put myself out there live on these live Q&As to let people know that they're not on their own. And on Pieces of a Broken Mind, everyone's mental health matters, and everyone is welcome on my channel. And you know, I want to I want to hear people's mental health stories. I want to hear people's mental health journeys. I know mine. I want to share mine, but I also want to know what you guys are going through. I also want to know what you've got going on in your mind and in your life, because maybe it's similar, and maybe we can co-regulate and talk to each other about those things. Live streams can be massively empowering for real people to have real conversations. Um, Especially surrounding mental health, um, and stigma and discrimination, because a lot of people avoid the conversation about mental health. A lot of people don't even approach the subject about mental health, about suicide, about depression, about that darkness, about that loneliness, because they're afraid of that conversation. But once you've lived it, like I have, once you've been at rock bottom, like I have, once you've tried to end your life, like I have, talking about it can only help. Because let me tell you, once you're at rock bottom, you can't go any further. The only way's up. And rock bottom is steady enough for you to build a platform to bring yourself back. And I know only too well. Because if you go back and watch my first videos or my first live streams, I've documented my whole journey through mental illness from the start of the breakdown at 2022 to now. It's all documented on my channel, and I talk about it openly. And I've been doing it for 4 years, and it makes me feel good. It helps me in a way when I'm not having therapy, because I'm talking about it, because I'm discussing mental health like I am now. That to me is like an additional therapy session. It helps me. It gives me purpose. If it fulfills that desire of needing to talk to someone about mental health. And if I'm not talking to my therapist about mental health, or my psychologist, because they're two different things, I'm talking to people on YouTube. I'm making videos and talking about mental health. I'm talking about it on TikTok. I'm talking about it on Instagram. So talking is such a massive part of my mental health recovery journey. Whether that be in therapy or out of therapy, talking either way is massive in the journey of recovery. And yeah, it's extremely important that you understand that. It's extremely important that people see that these conversations do happen on YouTube. It's extremely important that real people have real conversations about real things, especially mental health. So, mental health affects us all. Like I said, 1 in 4 people now in the UK, or 1 in 5, sorry, will suffer with a common mental health disorder. So, there's no hiding away from this mental health crisis. We are in a mental health crisis, not just in the UK, but all around the world. Mental health is in a crisis at the moment, and the help and support doesn't really grow as much as the need for support. There's just not enough support out there for everyone that's going through mental illness. So what do? We should be helping each other. We should be talking to each other. We should be supporting each other through our journeys and letting people know how you're feeling, whether that be good or bad, positive or negative. In many ways, honesty and conversation is just all people want to see, because they think they're on their own, that no one's talking about this, but they are. There are people on YouTube talking about mental health. You're not alone. You can make a difference. You can break the silence. You can be the one to start the conversation about mental health. You just need to believe in that. Because once you start unburdening yourself, you start to feel a little bit lighter. You start to feel a little bit more at peace. Because if you can face your own demons, and if you can face your own traumas, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and admit your own mistakes and flaws, then you can face anything in life. because the hardest thing you'll ever have to do is face yourself, and own up to your own mistakes, own up to your own faults and flaws. That's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. But if you can face yourself and you can face your own demons, then you can help and you can support anyone, because facing yourself is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people shy away from, say, oh, you know, I'm not approaching that subject because I might open up, you know, Pandora's box. But if you can't look past, or if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and admit your own flaws, mistakes, and insecurities, then you'll forever be trying to hide away from these conversations. You need to face them. You need to want to have them. You need to get them out of the way and start recovering and start being happy again and start learning to live alongside your mental illness, learning to control or have some form of control when you are suffering, you know. Don't just give up all power to the intrusive thoughts, to the darkness, to the pain, the sorrow, the misery. Don't give them all that. Don't give those things all the power. You know, take some back for yourself. Take some back for yourself. Self-care is how you take your power back. Look after yourself. Make your mental health a priority in your life. Make your mental health a priority like your life depends on it, because it does. You know, if you're not well mentally, how can you look after anyone else or look after your family and your friends? So you need to look after yourself. And if that, whether that's physical or mental, there are people out there who can help you. Mental health professionals that can help you get to where you want to be. And look, I'll say this because I think I need to say it. Once you back in 2022, once you're in a place of acceptance, I accepted in 2022 that I wanted my life to be over. I accepted in 2022 that my life needed to end because there's too much pain, there's too much emptiness, there's too much loneliness, there's too much hate, there's too much regret, there's too much sorrow. I wanted my life to be over, and it's hard to come back from a place of you wanting your own life to be over. I've had to dig extremely deep to pull myself back out and into a position where I'm getting help and I'm working on it. But coming back from accepting that you wanted your life to be over is extremely hard. And it's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And through all the mistakes, through all the regret, I try not to hold on to those feelings anymore because they don't serve you. They don't serve you. They're just toxic. If you have those, if you let those things and those feelings fester in your life, then it's just going to consume you. I'm comfortable with those. I'm comfortable with those thoughts because I know I've survived them. I will continually get them, but I know I can survive them because I have. So be prepared to face yourself. Be prepared to face your own demons. Be prepared to admit your own mistakes. Look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing to make my life better? Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming life. Life happens to everyone. Mistakes are made. Wrong choices are made. Relationships end. It is what it is. It's not unique to you. And once you understand that, you'll know that life is just one big game of chance, and everyone's playing the same game. And once you learn to play the game, you'll start maneuvering around the board a lot easier. And that, I hope that made sense to a lot of people, because I really do, to come back from those type of thoughts in 2022. Where I wanted my life to end, I needed it to end. I tried to end it. It's that acceptance of not wanting to be here anymore is hard to come back from. But I had to face that. I had to face those thoughts. I had to talk about those thoughts. I had to face them every single night through nightmares and flashbacks. And I have to deal with the consequences when I wake up when I wake up from these nightmares and flashbacks. They leave you feeling a certain way, but you've got to be strong enough to cope with those things. And if you're not, then that's when you need to get support. That's when you need to get help. That's when you need to reach out and ask for other people to help you and support you, and to unburden yourself. Don't go through it alone. Don't live a lonely life. Don't shut people out. Don't close off every avenue of opportunity. Be open to change. Be open to new opportunities. Be open to new ways of living your life. Try to live with an open mindset rather than a closed mindset, and keep moving forward. If you get knocked down, just get back up again and go again. Don't let life win. Don't let life beat you down, and don't let other people beat you down either. No one has the right, the God-given right on this earth, to make you feel bad about yourself. No one. So don't give them that power. Your superpower is you. Your strongest asset is who you are, because no one else can be you. There's only one of you. There might be people that are similar to you, or but your superpower is you, who you are, and you define who you are as a person, not anyone else, not life. You will define who you are, and you will start taking control back of your own life. But you won't do, you will have to have some support along the way, and whether that be therapy, counselling, life coaching, educating yourself around mental health and mental illness. So whatever you do, some type of support will be needed. And one of the best types of support for mental health is conversation, because co-regulating with someone and resonating with someone about mental illness really helps. It really helps you understand that you're definitely not alone. There are people out there with maybe different types of mental health disorders, but going through some similar symptoms. So that's why it's important. That's why it's always been important. Conversation between people is, we've lost the art of that these days. In 2026, in a digital age, and in an age of social media, human beings have forgotten how to connect with each other, human to human, soul to soul, person to person, because we're just driven by social media these days. We're just driven by all these social media influencers and their lives and all their money and all this fantasy of having this dream life, when in reality a lot of people just want to be happy. A lot of people just want to be peaceful. A lot of people just want to live a quiet life. So don't be tricked into social media showing you what you should have in life and what you shouldn't have. Success will look different for each individual. Success for me is being alive. Success for me is continuing on YouTube. Success for me is making a mental health content, being a good dad. That's success for me. But success to other people might be loads of money, loads of houses, loads of cars. I wish I had more money, and I wish I had, all those nice things. But ultimately, I have to accept that might never happen for me. So I need to find some form of happiness in what I do have. And what I do have is my son. What I do have is this mental health channel. What I do have is my coaching business, where I'm a life coach. Yes, I do have a job. Yes, I am in my professional life a life coach. I've got multiple diplomas. They're all behind me there, and behind the TV. So yes, I do work. So I do help people in my professional life, and a lot of people have helped me in my personal life. So and do you know what would make me happy is not having to have nightmares and flashbacks every single night. That would make me happy. If I could have just 1 or 2 nights a week where I don't have those suicidal thoughts, that would make me happy. Seeing my son grow into the man he's becoming, that makes me happy. This channel, making mental health content, that makes me happy. Working with my therapist and seeing the growth, that makes me happy. Working with my psychologist and finding the right medication for me, that's rewarding, because we trialed so many different ones until we found ones that really helped. So I'm proud of the small things in life. I'll never be able to have the best things in life, but I can still celebrate the small things. I've got my health. Yes, I'm mentally challenged at the moment with my mental illness. Yes, I self-harm. Yes, I have suicidal thoughts and all of those things. But I'm here. I'm still alive. I've survived that. And that's what's important to me. That conversation, that understanding, and that level of honesty between myself and expectancy of what I expect from life now. And what I expect from life now is just to be better each day, try to improve every single day, and try to help people. And that's what I try to do with this channel, and and every time I get a nice comment, like someone will watch one of my videos and say, "Thank you for sharing. I needed to hear this today." Those comments are so powerful, and they move me so much that it gives me purpose to keep going. And I will continue to keep going. I will continue to keep going. Being live, making videos, posting in the community tab, replying to comments, seeing people resonate with my content makes me happy. Gives me purpose, and it gives me the strength to fight my mental illness. My mental illness is a curse. Don't get me wrong. It definitely is a curse. But it's also given me a great foundation in having lived experience of mental illness. It's made me a better coach. It's made me a better life coach. So, it's how you look at things, it's perspective, what I keep going back to. Clarity, purpose, and perspective. If you can get those 3 things, you can drastically improve your life. You can drastically improve your mindset. And you can drastically improve your chances of recovery. PCP, purpose, clarity, perspective. Purpose, clarity, perspective. If you can get those 3 things in life, then you can recover and you can survive anything. You're stronger than you'll ever give yourself credit for. You're much stronger than you'll ever give yourself credit for. Human beings are capable of incredible feats. You don't know how resilient you are, because you haven't been tested yet. But you'll be surprised at how resilient you are. You'll be surprised at how much you can take. You'll be surprised at how much fight you have when you have to dig deep. And I've had to dig deep. And if I can do it, then you can do it. Then everyone can do it. Sometimes it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And it's about understanding that life happens to everyone. It's not just happening to you. Life happens to everyone. And if I've learned anything over the last 4 years of being of going through mental illness, is that I can sum up life in just 3 simple words. Life goes on, regardless of what we're going through, regardless of what we're feeling. Life goes on, and that's it. You have to accept that. It's not going to wait for you. It's not going to give you opportunity. It's not going to just give you everything that you want. Life doesn't owe you success. Life doesn't owe you happiness. Life is what happens to you. So, what you do, what you choose though, how you react to that. So you can't control what happens in life, but you can control how you react to it. So choose to react positively where possible. I understand that many different situations will be tough. But you can do it. You can definitely do it. And don't forget, I believed in I had to find belief and hope inside of myself. I didn't think it was there. I didn't think that I could find that light, that bit of hope. But if you dig a little deeper, you will find it. You will find a way. You will find a way to survive. You're more resilient and you're more capable than you will ever know. So if you're suffering with your mental health, please see a mental health professional. Do not suffer in silence, because you are not alone. You are enough, and the world is a better place with you in it. Never forget that. You are enough. You matter, and the world's a better place with you in it. And to finish this live stream, we're coming up to the hour mark now. I want you to understand that you would be missed if you weren't here. Someone out there does love you. Someone out there does care about you. You don't have to go through this alone. You are enough. You matter, and the world's a better place with you in it. So understand that. Use that mantra to keep moving forward. Face your demons, face your traumas, face your insecurities, face your mistakes, face your wrong choices, accept them, forgive yourself, and move on and live your life. Because at the moment, some people are just existing. They need to be living, not existing. They need to be living their life. Stop beating yourself up for the past that's gone and a future that's not even here yet. What are you doing today that's going to make tomorrow better? Choose to do something positive. And if there's something that you've been putting off, and there's something that you've been wanting to do in life, just do it. Just do the fucking thing, I got over, I never ever thought I'd be able to be a YouTuber, speak on YouTube, make videos, speak on YouTube openly. I never thought I'd be able to do that. But I persevered with it, and I'm still here 4 years later. So it does go to show consistency and showing up for yourself. You will surprise yourself, and you will understand that, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, just don't go through mental illness alone. Get the help that you need, get the support that you need, and have these conversations. You know, why you're even considering about going through mental illness alone? What, you don't have to. You don't have to. Your mental health matters. Everyone's mental health matters. So that's it for this week's this Wednesday's live stream. I will be live again Sunday evening for another live Q&A session. Even though that no one really joined the live today, I still made myself available. I still showed up for myself. I was still live, and I will be live again Sunday. There is something uploaded every single day on my channel to do with mental health and raising up mental health awareness and challenging stigma and discrimination. There's always something on my channel, but I'll be live next time. The next time I'll be live will be Sunday evening, and I will hopefully a lot more people will join that live and get involved in the conversation. But to finish, on this channel, everyone's mental health matters. So please do subscribe. Please do be a part of the community and be a part of the solution, not the problem. And all I want to say is look after yourself, look after your family and friends, and I'll speak to you all soon on Pieces of a Broken Mind. Take care.